values.
So get those bills to my desk. Put more Americans back to work.
President Obama delivering his fifth State of the Union address before both houses, of course, of Congress and the nation tonight. The big topics: gridlock in Washington, partisan politics, the economy, of course, and health care, obviously. Let's get reaction. We are joined by Republican State Rep Rich Workman from Melbourne and Sean Ashby, Democrat, and Chairman of Citizens for Informed Elections. Gentlemen, great to have you both with us tonight. I talked to you earlier. It seemed to me the overriding theme of the whole thing is this idea of partisan politics. Last year, the president didn't get an awful lot of things done that he wanted to get done. Congress didn't work with him, and he seemed to use the 13% approval rating of Congress to try and push things forward a little bit. Let's take a quick listen here.
For several years now, this town has been consumed by a rancorous argument over the proper size of the federal government. It's an important debate, one that dates back to our very founding. But when that debate prevents us from carrying out even the most basic functions of our democracy, when our differences shut down government or threaten the full faith and credit of the United States, then we are not doing right by the American people.
So what does the president say? Rich, I'll let you have first volley on this one here. Is the president saying get on board or get out of the way?
Yeah, well, if you'd play that clip a little bit further, he said, so here's what I'm going to do. I can't get anything passed through the legislature. I can't work within the system that our founding fathers created, so I will simply go without you. Yeah. You're welcome to get on board and follow me, but I'm going to do it like a dictator, not like a president.
Sean, is that wrong? 13%? America seems to want some kind of a change.
He's had a hard time getting stuff passed through. So not only is he saying, I'm going to take the lead, and this is what we're going to do with this executive order, he asked the American businesses to take the lead as well and raise wages in this country.
All right. Now, I think one of the first volleys is this idea of the minimum wage. He commented on it tonight. He's raising the minimum wage for federal employees. Can't do it for everybody, but he's doing it first for federal employees. Take a listen.
In the coming weeks, I will issue an executive order requiring federal contractors to pay their federally funded employees a fair wage of at least $10.10 an hour, because if you cook our troops' meals or wash their dishes, you should not have to live in poverty.
And certainly I expected Speaker Boehner to come out of his chair on that, because he had plenty of words to say on that. Sean, I'll give you the first volley on this. How is this going to play? Because no Republican stood for that.
Well, I mean, obviously, you know, anytime you have president saying that they're going to do an executive order, Congress isn't too crazy about that. But like I said earlier, the president, he's taken the bull by the horns, and he's leading the charge here, saying we need better wages for Americans workers, and I'm going to start with our own, and this is what he's going to try and do.
Rich, is it going to work?
No, it's not going to work. He needs to take a page out of Florida's book. You know, we're way ahead of him on job creation. We're way ahead of him on getting out of this recession. This president, leadership is working with others, and he has proven inept. He can't work with his own party. Later, he talked about vetoing sanctions that would come up that is being run by his party. The fact is he can't get along with either side because it's his way or the highway, and that's why we have gridlock. He wants to blame Congress. I think it's squarely back at him. I blame President Obama for gridlock.
Well, certainly nothing more contentious than health care. Surprisingly, it came up fairly late in his speech. Let's take a listen.
Keeping Medicare premiums flat and lowering prescription costs for millions of seniors. Now, I do not expect to convince my Republican friends on the merits of this law. But I know that the American people are not interested in refighting old battles. So, again, if you have specific plans to cut costs, cover more people, increase choice, tell America what you do differently. Let's see if the numbers add up. But let's not have another 40-something votes to repeal a law that's already helping millions of Americans like Amanda.
So we saw the face by Kathleen Sebelius, and we heard the response by the Republicans that it is going to come up again. Are we done fighting this fight? Is the Affordable Care Act with us to stay, or are we going to have another 40-some-odd votes? Rich, you go first.
Well, why wouldn't we continue to fight it? You know, the left really complained about George W. Bush being stubborn. You remember those? They always, this is the most stubborn president we've ever had. Obamacare currently is a failure, and he won't bend an inch. He won't meet anybody halfway. There are plenty of Democrats voting with Republicans to make changes, and he won't bend. He's the most stubborn of them all, yet the liberals stick right behind him and just run right after him.
Sean, there are success stories out there. Is it a failure?
Well, I think it's way too early to determine that. I mean, it's only been up and going for a little while. Yes, there are a couple hiccups with the website, but as he said earlier, 9 million Americans have already signed up for this. We 0 people are now being denied for pre-existing conditions. Only time will tell, but we're on that right path right now.
Guys, there's so much to talk about, and I apologize that we don't have more time. We really are like a stone skipping across a lake on this. We can only touch on the key topics, but we really do appreciate you coming in and spending some time with us tonight. Thanks.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.